Welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight in the bar, we've got the Glenmorangie 10-year-old Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Stay tuned. Hey, thanks for coming back. I'm Tyler, and tonight in the bar, like I said, Glenmorangie 10-year-old Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Comes in from the Glenmorangie distillery in the Highlands region, and comes part of their core range, which begins with the 10-year-old, which is bourbon cask finished. Goes into the 12-year-old, the 14-year-old, and finishes off with the 16-year-old in their core range of products. With respect to the 10-year-old, we'll get into the specs of the bottle here. So it comes in at 40% ABV, chill filtered, and color added, more than likely, just based around those specs alone. Pretty much the opening range of the Glenmorangie piece, so you can expect, as a starter of their range, you can kind of get around and understand why it's 40%. Ex-bourbon cask matured, so you're gonna get some nice bourbon flavors on those, and matured in there for 10 years. So we'll get into the presentation of it here. As you can see, it's a pretty loud all-around bottle here. You've got the liquids visible in there, really much shadowed by this orange, bright orange top and label that's on it here. The canister matches that, equally loud. It's got some gold on top here. A little bit of information on the back, not a whole lot, just kind of talking about how smooth it is and that it's aged 10 years old in bourbon casks. There is a QR code on the back that you can go and check out. It gives you some pretty standard tasting notes on the website. Net, it's a little bit loud for my liking, especially on my bar. But yeah, it's an all right look there. They rebranded a couple of years ago. I actually preferred the older style of packaging. Bottle wise, pretty standard looking bottle, and you get a cork in there instead of a twist top and all that. I'd probably, if I was gonna put it on the bar, I'd leave it outside of the canister. It's just a lot, very loud and very busy for me. But other than that, we'll get into the pour and see what's going on with the liquid in the bottle. Little cork pop on there. We'll take a look at the liquid here in the Glenmorangie 10-year-old. So you can see it's got a very pale hue to it. It's darker than the 10-year-old Ardbeg, which we saw in a previous video, and you can definitely kind of tell there's some coloring in there just with that darker hue there. Could be first fill bourbon. I'm gonna just say that it's colored. Let's be frank. Anyways, so nothing wrong with that. It's got pretty thin liquid there. There's not a lot of legs to it. You don't see a lot of the tears hanging on the side of the glass. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Again, we're going to profile of the nose and the palate is what we're looking for. So before we get into that, in the nose, just going to invite you, if you have a Highland or a Speyside that you want to pour and drink along with me. I always like that. It makes it a lot funner for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me. So we'll, with that, pour yourself a dram. We'll get into the nose. Okay. So right off the get-go, it's very heavy citrus, lemons, limes. You get some peaches on there, like ripe peaches, and with the skin still on the peaches. Some candied oranges in there as well. You get that sweetness. Some banana as well. Getting some banana. Yeah, that sweetness is very strong, almost like a confectioner's sugar or an icing sugar in there. Some vanilla on that there, and some floral notes at the end. Pretty fan of the floral notes. Very citrus heavy, very fresh flavors, or fresh scents on this. Yeah, that's that's pretty much it. So yeah, very fresh, very citrus forward. It's got those fruits. The peaches is kind of interesting. It's almost like a fuzzy peach, like the sour peaches. Yeah, very interesting smell to it for 10 years old and ex-bourbon. So yeah, we'll get into the taste and the flavor profile and see what we can get out of it. So Slanger. So it's pretty thin all around. Yeah, it's juicy. It's mouth coating, but not really. It's a thinner liquid, but it still coats your mouth very well. You still get that pound of citrus there. You know, those big citrus flavors, the lemons, the limes, the oranges. You get the vanilla. You get a little bit of spice on there. Going for a second sip here and kind of confirm that a little bit. Yeah, very, again, citrus heavy. You get some peaches in there, like very juicy, ripened peaches, still in the skin. Some clove at the back end, maybe a little bit of powdered ginger. Yeah, those oak tannins and vanilla. Yeah, again, very fresh flavors, citrus heavy, vanilla, oak. That peach, that weird, very like fresh, ripe peaches, and then just a little bit of spice at the back end. Really, just again clove spice or ginger spice, ginger powder. Yeah, very nice, easy sipper for sure. So with that, yeah, we'll get into the finish. Take one more sip here just to confirm a little bit more and tell you about it. So I'm gonna probably come out and say it kind of like the Ardbeg video again here. Very fresh flavors, very approachable. It's very thin liquid. It's short finish, very short finish. You know, it's already gone, not very lingering. You get those spices in the end and the oak tannins on there and that bitterness. It's very short and gone. Yeah, pretty balanced, I would say. You know, all in all, very balanced Scotch. You know. I hate being snobby about it, but like the 40% really is what I think is kind of hitting it. The liquids, it's a thinner liquid. It's not very mouth filling. It's not too complex. The finish is not, you know, it's not a real big bomb. It's very, very easy, very fresh, clean spirit. It you know. This is one of these, you know, if you have somebody in your life that's a bourbon drinker and they're wanting to get into Scotch, this is definitely somewhere I would take them to get into it. It's, yeah, it's very much easy that way. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly overpowering. There's no smoke to it. It's just a very easy sipping, well-balanced, approachable dram. You know, what would I compare this to for, you know, from an entry level point? I think it's kind of just on its own. I'd recommend it for a starter. I'd recommend it for someone who's just looking for an easy dram to get into. And yeah, just an everyday all-around sipper. You know, you could drink this. You could have this after dinner, before dinner, and it's not going to be on your breath or on you all night long. It's again very short and very approachable. So yeah, we'll get into the value proposition on this one here. So. It comes in at about $78, and I mean $78 for a starter whiskey. I mean, you're not really going to get much better bang for your buck there. There might be one coming up in the future that might rival it a little bit, but again, it's a trusted brand. It's a good starter whiskey. It's a good place for someone to start. It's a good easy sipper. If you have bourbon friends, this is going to be very approachable for them. Or if you're a bourbon drinker yourself and looking to get into Scotch, this is definitely one you can just grab onto, and it's not going to break the bank, and it's not going to scare you away from it. So for that, I would probably say I would say this is probably the only bottle I'm going to get, and then I'll move on to something. I've had the Quinta Reuben, which is their 14-year-old portwood finish, very good, but a completely different beast altogether. It's 46%. It's not so filtered, no color added, and just differently. But I mean, it starts off with starts off in the same base. So I mean, if you like this and you want to move up, I would definitely encourage you to go and take that adventure. We were just at a conference there, or at a show, Whiskey Wonderland a week ago. Tried the 15-year-old Glenmorangie. It was fabulous as well. I can't exactly remember the the cask or whatever finish it was, but I'll put a picture of it up here and maybe put some notes down below. But yeah, good brand, good value, and if you're getting into whiskey, this is a great place for someone to start. And I'll leave you with that. So yeah, you might I had a little bit of creak in my throat. I'm just getting over a cold here, but I was pretty excited to get back and get some filming done here. So this is where we are. If you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, please like and subscribe down below. Comment. What was your first starter whiskey? Have you had any more expressions than Glenmorangie core expressions or limited editions that you would recommend? Please put them below. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you around, and all the best to you. Cheers, Slanja, to your health, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.